Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is Little Richard 1988 and today is Thursday the 26th of March 2026 when this has been filmed. I don't know when this will be uploaded, but it's been a while since I did a video installment, but I thought as 2026 will mark 40 years since CRS Records released their first ever kids cassettes, I thought it would be a great opportunity to look back on their legacy, showing off my collection of CRS Records children's cassettes. As you can see in front of the camera, there are some early generation CRS Records cassettes, including a few that were released in the 1980s. I've already uploaded 5 of the 6 of these cassettes, but one thing I will say is I never imagined I would ever get some CRS Records cassettes of this age from like the late 80s and early 90s, like 1990, but you know, a few years ago I was lucky to find most of these on eBay. Right, now let's go back and talk about how CRS Records came to be. Now, CRS Records was founded by Michael Ratcliffe and Philip Waddington in 1984. It originally started as a small home recording studio in a bungalow on Crossland Road in St Anne's, which was for local musicians and possibly for doing demo tracks and stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. But it didn't originally start as a kids music company. CRS actually stands for Custom Recorded Sounds. Now, as I mentioned, Phil and Michael set the company up in 1984, but Phil actually left in 1985 and studied classical music at university, and then when he returned the following year, Michael and his sister Alison Chard had put together some nursery rhyme arrangements on a reel-to-reel. I think it was them that came up with the idea, or possibly even Michael's idea, for CRS to become a niche market in kids music, because there was a huge gap in the market. Because until that time, most kids music was just, you know, a lady with a guitar, like Never Ada, aka Rosanna Coombe, and it kind of sounded a bit more play school. But so yeah, Phil, when Phil heard the what would become the first musical rhyme time cassette, well, he kind of thought, they both latched on to thought that was a brilliant idea, and yeah, in 1986, the end of 1986, the first musical rhyme time cassette was released, and it had a blue cover with I think it had a picture of Humpty Dumpty or something on the front, and it had songs like Three Blind Mice, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and originally they were done like basic piano guitar arrangements, but then Phil decided to bring a more modern slant to it and added things like keyboards, a drum machine and bass guitar. Following on the success of the first musical rhyme time cassette, CRS, couple of years later, they brought out another one called Musical Rhyme Times 2. Found this one on eBay in 2021. Never thought I would find a cassette of that age. And there you go. Released probably around January 1988. That's what they looked like originally, with just basic illustration. First musical rhyme time cassette had like a blue background, but I think the spine and the rest of the cover was all white. Now, interestingly, you've got like a red cover for the cassette, but open the cassette and this is what the cassette looks like. We've got red text that's what the CRS Records logo looked like originally. That's Musical Rhyme Time 2. Obviously I'm only scanning the full cover art, but hey, that's the track list. It's one thing that surprised me was I didn't know that version of Five Little Men, the Flying Saucer, was recorded in 1988. So yeah, that's yeah. Not sure how many Musical Rhyme Time series cassettes there were, but illustration was actually printed by Denman Repros, Nottingham. They were all kind of done in that same style art up until about 1991. Now, the next one is a novel by Oscar Wilde, The Canterville Ghost, read by Colin Skipp, who also narrated the story of Goldilocks, and he actually voiced Tony Archer on BBC's The Archers. But now, with this cassette, I actually bought this off of the Kids Music Shop website before they discontinued all their cassettes, which is why it's a clear plastic cassette and the copyright text and the logo are of such. So I think this particular copy was duplicated in 1999 or 2000 or something. Anyway, but yeah, you got the details about the story and then the copyright text. Now, interestingly, slightly different. I actually thought that the copyright text for the other CRS cassettes would be of this style, but no, with the children's audio products it's at the top and in that kind of style. I suppose because it's the most important thing they decided to put it at the top, but on later editions they moved the copyright text to the bottom. But yes, so yeah, obviously this is a reprint, hence why it's got a modern cassette. And then 1989, CRS Records didn't stop there. They produced more, like Children's Choice. I actually have the other reprints of this. I've got the 1997 re-release and the 2000 edition, which are both slightly different. Interestingly, this cassette is beige, and we've got blue text. I think it is possible that the colour of the text possibly signifies the year of the release, like 1988 might have been red, 1989 blue, and 1990 orange, etc. Could be wrong, but it seems like that's a possibility. The Children's Choice cassette is based on the Musical Rhyme Time series, and it's even got a few tracks from the first Musical Rhyme Times, as the copyright text signifies 1986 to 1988, because some of the recordings date from 1986 while others are from 1988. And there's some good tracks on here. This one's slightly different to the... got a few tracks that are different to the 1991 re-release, but a couple of things that surprised me was that One Man Went to Mow, I actually thought it was the version with Phil saying, "Get down, Shep," in one breath, and etc. But no, the version it is actually, I didn't realise the version, it's add one man, add one man, add another man, from the musical, the educational cassette, you know, the one. But no, I didn't realise that was the first one, but there you go. I also thought Hushabye Baby would be the version with the guitars, but no, it's the other version, which I actually thought was done in 91. I also didn't know Five Little Men, the Flying Saucer was recorded in 1988, but there you go. That's the cover art with Humpty Dumpty and Little Red Riding Hood. The re-releases have slightly different cover art, which will go in on future videos. Then there's the Hokey Cokey cassette. Now, bearing in mind that the catalogue number signifies the year, I later suspected the 1991 edition was actually a re-release, and I wasn't wrong, because 1991 is an extended edition. However, there were a couple of tracks that were removed on the later releases, like Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, which was later reissued on a Playhouse cassette, and Two Fat Gentlemen, which was quite amusing, especially the bit with the two little pirates. And we've got light blue text. There's the logo. They used to put labels on cassettes in those days. And we've got a blue cover. So yes. And yeah, there we go. Similar format, printed by Denman Repos. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I think Waddington is how you pronounce Phil's surname. I used to pronounce it as Waddington, but I think Waddington's the correct one. And yes, so there are the tracks. That's yeah, it all started in a bungalow in St Anne's. Now they're in a commercial retail unit in the old bank chambers. So yes, cover arts are all white. And 1990, Rocky Poppy Rhymes. Found that off eBay in 2022. It's a shame the previous person took the sticker off, because it would have been nice to have found out where the previous owner bought this from, but we've got a completely clear case, and this is the case for the Children's Choice one as well. So yes, and for 1990 they went for orange text. I also have the Hickory Dickory Dock cassette, but I don't have the sleeve for it. Doesn't come with the inlay, but I can't find that, so it's not, which is the only reason it's not in the installments. But yeah, so yes, there are the recording dates. Some of them from 1986, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe Sing a Song of Sixpence. 88 for stuff like I can't think, but 89 Hokey Cokey, in 1990 for stuff like Rabbit Ain't Got No Tail at All, Peter Perkins, and Seven Little Pigs. Now Seven Little Pigs is one of the tracks that was later added on to Children's Choice, but not on the original edition. There's yeah, so yes. And my favourite one is Summertime Songs and Rhymes, which is all originals. Now this was one of the last cassettes to be released in this format before they rebranded, but I do quite like the cover art on here. It's like it's painted or something from a painting. It's bright and colourful compared to the other ones. And again, we got orange text on the cassette. And yes, some really funny songs like I Am a Weed. Everyone likes that one. I also like You Could Fry an Egg on the Pavement. That one's quite funny. One of my favourite ones, Beautiful Butterfly. Very lucky I found this cassette when I did, because had I not found it, some of these would have been lost in the mist of time. But so yes, that just about wraps it up. Hope you enjoy this informative video. Bye for now.